Hello Huns, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all alright. So last week I spoke to you about my new upload day and told you that I would likely be changing the date of my upload. Anyway, when I filmed that video, Tuesday and Wednesday were by far the top contenders. Somehow, I don't even know how, there was a huge surge kind of after I'd filmed it, when I started editing, etc, 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 and the most popular day was keeping it on Friday. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep my uploads Friday. They will be every Friday 5 o'clock. Now I know that's what you want. It's much easier for me to kind of plan and do a routine around, so that's really cool. I'm hoping in a couple of months to kind of increase back to my twice weekly uploads, but like I say, I'm only kind of 3 weeks into my job at the moment. I do want to find my feet and make sure that I'm in a really established routine before I start messing around with anything else. So if you follow me on Instagram, which I really hope you do, if not, it's at Amber in a Teacup, head over there now and follow me. You will see that I have been asking you lots of questions about what kind of videos you want to see, just so I can create a bit more of a schedule, so I kind of know what I'm doing. I like to have it all really planned, so I now have like the next 8 weeks of videos planned, so that is all good, and I'm just going to do that from now on. I just want to make sure that I am uploading what you want to see. So with this video, we are going to be taking it right back to the roots and talking about IVF. The reason for that is obviously in my last week's video I did speak to you and let you know that I had my IVF follow-up. Obviously I hadn't really discussed this with you. I did touch on it on Instagram, but obviously with Instagram you only have a certain amount of lines, so I couldn't say everything that I wanted to say. I couldn't really explain everything to you. So now I think is kind of the prime opportunity for me to sit down, have a brew with you all, catch up on all things IVF, and just kind of let you know what my follow-up was and what that means for us going forward. Now today we have a very, very, very special guest joining us. Now, I cannot promise that they are going to be here the whole way. They're kind of a bit of a free spirit, and if they don't want to be sat next to me, then they won't. They will kind of just go on and do what they want. I know you're all thinking, oh, she's going to bring Marco on. No, I'm not. Marco, I think, would kill me if I ever tried to get him to do a sit-down talky video with me. So I'm sorry, Huns, but that's not happening anytime soon. But what I do have, in my opinion, is a million times better than my husband. Are you ready? Are you ready, Huns? I hope you're ready. Brizzy, come here.
Hello. Are you saying hello? Hello everyone. Hello everyone, my name's Boosie. My name's Boosie Sabusafa. Hello. Hello friends. Make sure that you subscribe to my mummy's channel. Subscribe everybody.
No, okay, he's gonna lay down in between my legs. He doesn't want to be seen. This is really not great. But he's here, my little pal is here. He's gonna be here, and I'm sure that he's gonna pop up and down throughout the video, so you will see him, won't they? They will get to see you. Brucey's gonna be the star guest. Yes, and his little dicky bow. It was his birthday on Sunday, and it was his birthday on Sunday, and he's now three. So we took him for a really long walk, and I went to Pets at Home, and I spent so much money on him, and we went, and he already had a bow tie. He had like a paisley pattern bow tie, but I got him a nice rainbow bow tie, which I'm now deciding I actually don't like. I think it's a bit too in your face, but I'd got him a big bow tie, and then on top of that, come here. Come say hello. Come here. Come here. Oh God. Okay, it's playtime now. This was a bad idea. So yeah, I'd got him this really nice like paisley bow tie, but yeah, so I bought him a rainbow bow tie, which Marco really doesn't like. But I think you look so handsome. Don't you look handsome? There he is. Oh, okay, no, this isn't quite going to plan. So I'd got him a bow tie, I got him some things we can put in the freezer for him so that he cools down on the really hot days. Yeah, so we got him all this like nice stuff. I got him some frozen yogurt, he had a little birthday cake, he had some Prosecco. He had the best day that a dog could ever have for their birthday. Like, he was over the moon. So yeah, he's running around in his little bow tie right now. Anyway, get yourself all comfy, grab yourself a nice cup of tea, and I'll see you in a moment and we will talk all things IVF. Hi hon, welcome back. Hope you've got your nice cup of tea. I don't know why my voice is going all high and squeaky. I really can't sing, can I? That's absolutely horrific. I do this to you every week and I do something absolutely awful and embarrassing and it's really not great. Anyway, we're here to talk serious. So, for those of you that are new here, first of all, pause this video and hit the subscribe button for new videos every Friday. But for those of you that are new here, I'll give you a really quick backstory. Now, for my whole IVF journey, both times, you can go back through my channel. I have documented both rounds of Icsi really in depth. There is one video that is just the entire journey and then a lot of kind of questions, etc., that have been answered just afterwards, and then my second round I did do bit by bit. So there's an awful lot of videos on IVF, so you can catch up with my journey by doing that. But the quick overview is that I was diagnosed with blocked fallopian tubes at the end of 2018. I then had them removed in March last year, and we then found out that Marco had low morphology, so we were referred for Icsi. Icsi and IVF, unfortunately, is not on the NHS in our area, so we went privately. We went to a clinic called ABC IVF, and we have had 2 rounds with them. So both rounds of Icsi have failed. The first round we didn't make it to transfer. The first round we had 2 eggs that fertilised out of 6 and neither made them to day 5. So we, like I say, yeah, we didn't even get to transfer there. The second time we had 10 eggs, 8 mature, 5 fertilised. Only 2 made them to day 5. 1 was barely developing, 1 was an early blastocyst, which means it wasn't quite where it should be. But they transferred it anyway, and yeah, it didn't work. So that was just at the beginning of lockdown. I think 3 days into lockdown, something like that, we found out that it didn't work, and yeah, now I'm here. So my follow-up took a long time because we had gone into lockdown. I was expecting a phone call. This phone call never really happened. I'd got a phone call the day after it failed from the nurse, and she said that they would discuss it in the meeting. Obviously things weren't face to face, but they would get in contact with us. Anyway, long story short, they didn't. I sent them an email that was rather strongly worded and just kind of said like, hello, we do exist. And what do you know, that same night I got a phone call. So I then booked in my follow-up appointment. This was over the phone. We certainly weren't going to travel to London with everything that was ongoing at the moment. And they're not actually doing them in the clinic at the moment. So it was all over the phone. So 8:30 on a Monday morning, we're up, we're downstairs in pyjamas with my first cup of tea of the day, and my phone starts ringing and the consultant answers the phone. He doesn't answer the phone at all. I answer the phone and the consultant is on the phone. Initially, our first round, we had been told had failed, ultimately down to luck, and that it was just the way of the world, and unfortunately the first round doesn't always work, but it is what it is. Next time they'll try us on different medication and see how that works. And that was fine. It was the first round. I didn't have any reason to believe it was anything other than that. I was concerned about how many embryos we had and how none of them had made it to transfer, let alone freezing. And that really was quite a big concern for me. But at the time, I just kind of let it go on the basis that, like I say, it was our first round. There's only something like an 18% chance that it will work first time. I was on Bemfola and Cetratide, and I wasn't really responding that well to the Bemfola. I was responding, and we got, you know, 6 eggs, but we expected a bit better, and I think they expected me to get on a lot better with it. I have to bear in mind that I'm only 25 years old. My eggs, as far as we're concerned, are good quality. I was initially told by a clinic a long time ago that if we were going for Icsi, then we would be a clinic's wet dream, on the basis that it was just a case of the morphology was irrelevant, they'd pick the best piece of sperm, and yeah, so there was no issue really other than the morphology. But if we were going for Icsi, then we didn't really see why that would make any difference whatsoever. So obviously there were concerns, but we just kind of let it lie, and we went ahead with the second round. Now, the second round, like I say, I did much better, but I was on Menopur instead of Bemfola, and I had a cyst. So again, you may have seen this on my previous videos, if not, go back and watch them, but the cyst, I was told, wouldn't impact the cycle itself. All right, grumpy gills. Wouldn't impact the cycle itself, but what it could potentially impact is how many follicles I get, because it may suppress them while they're growing. We made the decision to carry on, which was fine, etc, etc, etc. So when it ultimately failed, part of me was like, oh, well, was it because of the cyst? The long and short answer is no, it had absolutely nothing to do with the cyst. We took a risk by carrying on. We had to up my dosage of Menopur on the basis that because the cyst was suppressing everything, things weren't really growing that much. So I was quite high risk of OHSS. We expected this round. I don't know, I kind of felt like everything had been going so wrong with the cyst and everything else that I just kind of felt like it was our time, and I thought, well, after all this, it'd be great if then it worked. So we got 10 eggs, which we were over the moon with, 5 fertilised, which we were quite happy with. And then, like I say, when I was told that it was an early blastocyst that had been transferred, I don't know, for the first few days I was so like, yeah, it's worked, I'm gonna be pregnant, and I was so adamant that it had worked. And then, yeah, suddenly I don't know, just every symptom I had just dropped off, and I just think I knew that it hadn't worked. So when we got the follow-up, what they think it may be down to is DNA fragmentation of the sperm. So as far as they can see, there is nothing wrong with my eggs, and they don't really see any reason why it wouldn't be working. They did say that my weight may have something to do with it. So since our last round, so since March, I have lost just short of a stone. Since Christmas, I have lost just short of 2 stone. So ultimately I've lost, yeah, a stone since IVF, round 2. So yeah, ultimately I've lost a stone since IVF round 2. However, it's still not enough. They have told me that I could do with losing 2 stone to be an ideal BMI, which I know, and I've known that for a long time, so that's fine. I was on my way to doing that anyway, and now it's just kind of stepped up a gear, so that's absolutely fine. Whether or not I lose another 2 stone, I don't know. I do feel like if I lose 2 stone, I might quite literally be a stick, which I don't really want to be. But I am just going to lose another stone, and then I think I'm just going to focus on toning up. So we'll take it from there. I'd rather be strong than skinny, and I've said that from the very beginning. So as long as I'm fit and healthy, I think that's all that matters. I think what the number says on the scales. I know that with IVF clinics, they are very strict about BMIs, but that's fine. My BMI is less than what it was now. I think if I lose another stone and then I'm toned and healthy, like, fine, that's fine. So we'll just see how it goes. They also said that Marco could do with losing some weight, which he's going to start working on as well. On top of that, neither of us are smokers, so I stopped smoking, yeah, just before my operation. So I stopped smoking in February 2019. Prior to that, so I started smoking when I was really young. I won't tell you how young I was because you might go into cardiac arrest, but I was very young when I started smoking. Initially it was just kind of on and off, but by the time I was 16, I was smoking a lot, like a lot. When I went to uni, I was smoking between 20 and 40 a day. I was really heavy smoking. And I used to drink wine like there was no tomorrow, to be honest. I lived life like a student, I really did. And then, yeah, I cut down, I stopped, I started, I stopped, I started, I stopped, I started. But ultimately I was smoking for a very, very, very long time. So I stopped smoking last year because of all this. So that was enough for me to stop smoking. I'd stopped smoking just before, in fact, before I had my laparoscopy which diagnosed my infertility, I hadn't been smoking for around 4 or 5 months at that point. And then after my diagnosis and I started to spiral out of control, I started smoking again. And yeah, I got really bad again. So it was definitely a good decision to then stop altogether. So I'm actually really proud of myself for doing that. And I know that loads of people would sit there and go, oh, you shouldn't have smoked anyway. No, I shouldn't. But at the end of the day, I'm a human and I live my life in a nutshell. But yeah, so I haven't now for a long time. Marco quit smoking 6 years ago, maybe. But he now vapes, and I think that I don't know, we disagree on it all the time, but I've done a lot of research into it and I really do think it impacts the quality of sperm. But regardless, you know, it's a fairly new thing. There's not a great deal of information into that at the moment, but regardless, we've made the decision that he is going to be quitting. There's no ifs or buts or maybe about that. He is quitting and we are not going into another round of IVF while ever he's vaping. So that is on the agenda. However, they do think that the main issue, take all of that out of it, you know, there's fucking heroin addicts that get pregnant all the time. So, you know, lifestyle, I'm only factoring in for a tiny amount. Ultimately, they think the biggest issue is the DNA fragmentation. Now, they can't confirm that that is the case at the moment without us going for more tests, but it is looking increasingly likely that that is the case. So we were kind of left with some options, and the options were that we can either go ahead and get the tests and pay for all them to be done and have some clarity on that and know why, or we can carry on and just assume that that is the case and deal with it. So we've kind of decided on the latter, that right, okay, we can't be sure, but it is highly likely and most likely that that is the case. So that is what we will do. We will deal with it as though it is, because ultimately, even if we find out, like, they can't do anything. The only difference would be that they could surgically remove the sperm, which obviously reduces the fragmentation. But when I mentioned that to Marco, he near enough had a fit. So I think we're ruling that out. But even then, it's only a slightly increased chance. And at the moment, I don't think we're ready for that. So I think we may as well just kind of carry on as if that's the case. I don't see the point in spending all these money on these tests when they can't really change anything. Like, there's nothing different that they would do. It would still be a case of Icsi. We would still carry on. The only difference is that eventually, if it still doesn't work, then they would perhaps suggest donor sperm to us, which at the moment isn't something we would consider. So at the moment, I kind of feel like we're in the same boat of, well, we just carry on and we carry on as we are and see what happens, and then we take it from there. And if it still hasn't worked, well, then we cross that bridge when we come to it. But we've got a couple of rounds in us yet before we come to any kind of decision like that. So at the moment, it's irrelevant. Now, I did look into this thing called Pixie. I am going to link it down below so you can have a look into it. But it's basically like a form of Icsi, but a bit more technical. I can't explain it. It's all to do with like a gel in the dish, Petri dish thing, which is supposed to help with the fragmentation. But at the moment, there doesn't seem to be much evidence to prove that it actually works. So I'm not sure it's even as worth us looking into, as barely any clinics do it and it's going to be a lot more expensive. So at the moment, again, I don't really think there's any point of looking into it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at the minute. We're still taking our break. We're still not doing anything until at least June. So we've still got about 11 months before we even contemplate trying again. I'm quite happy with that at the moment, if I'm really honest. I'm quite enjoying my life away from it. I'm quite enjoying, you know, just enjoying this new life that I have with my new job and focusing on us. So ultimately, we're quite happy at the moment, but that is obviously what the result was. That's what they came back and said, that they think it may be a more deeper, there may be a deeper issue when it comes to sperm. But other than that, at the moment, you know, it is what it is. There's not a great deal we can do about it anymore. At the end of the day, our parenthood is in the hands of scientists. Like, there's not a great deal we can do about any of it. So at the moment, we can concentrate on getting ourselves as healthy as possible. But ultimately, I'm trying not to worry myself about it until we're closer to it. At the moment, I'm just having a laugh and I'm having a great time. So that's that, really. So that's my little update for you. I hope you liked it. Well, I hope you didn't like it, actually, because it's pretty shit for me. But I hope you liked the video anyway. I hope I've made you smile at least once. But that's it. That's it on the follow-up front. You know, we have a lot to think about. We have to think about whether or not we're even going to go to the same clinic. Like, I don't know. There's a lot to think about, but at the moment I'm not worrying my little head over it. At the moment I'm just having fun. So that's that. So if you did like this video, you want to see more videos like this, then do make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button on this video, and leave me a little comment down below. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what other videos you want to see, and I will see you next Friday, 5 o'clock. See you then.